Hey YouTube, this is Tabletop Magic, and today we're going to revisit Manaless Dredge. If you're not familiar with the deck, I would encourage you to check out my first video on Manaless Dredge, my original deck tech, along with the Manaless Dredge combo explained. I goldfished a turn 2 kill on that. Those will give you a really good idea of how the deck works. I'm going to be a little quicker on this one and just kind of skim through the cards until I get to the new package in this build. So let's run through it real fast. We have Gagari Grave Troll, dredging for 6, also part of our kill or our combo. Stinkweed Imp dredges for 5. Gagari Thug dredges for 4. And we have 3 Shambling Shell. Some decks run 2, 3, or 4. It's kind of unique to this style of dredge. Normal Lion's Eye Diamond dredge does not have shambling shells. So up next we have 4 Icarid. Icarid is pretty big. It's pretty standard in just about all dredge now. I don't believe the original LED dredges ran Icarids, but they've come around to them. 3-1 haste. You can't beat it. It keeps coming back. Up next is Nether Shadow. Nether Shadow being absolutely awesome. Very fun card. It's a 1-1 with haste. We have Narcomoeba, who is a 1-1 flyer that comes into play whenever he is sent from your deck directly to your graveyard. Always fun. That's pretty much, aside from zombie tokens, those 3 cards are pretty much your only permanents, unless you reanimate something with Dread Return. Up next we have 4 Bridge from Below, pretty standard. 4 Phantasmagorians. Phantasmagorians being another piece that's very unique to Manaless Dredge, but very fun. You have 4 Cabal Therapies, also being a discard outlet for yourself, a sacrifice outlet, and a piece of control that just, if you get a good dredge, you can pretty much shred their entire hand. Excuse me. Up next we have 4 Dread Return. Absolutely incredible card for this deck. Other types of dredge generally run 1 or 2 or none. You have 4 Street Wraiths as a draw spell. I went ahead and I kept 2 Contagions in the main board. I still like them. They come in handy for a lot of decks you really don't want to see keep their smaller creatures around. And then you have the Flare of the Hatebound hidden back there behind these Contagions, and they are part of the combo with Dread Return and Gagari Grave Troll. Up next we're going to talk about this a little bit more than the rest of the deck. You have 4 Gitaxian Probes. Gitaxian Probe, not only is it a draw spell, it's kind of a peek. It lets you look at their hand, which is always nice with the therapies and whatnot. But it's in there as a blue spell. We have 3 Whirlpool Riders, which is very unique to this deck. Whirlpool Rider, it was a find by a gentleman on Magic the Gathering thesource.com, or MTG The Source. I believe it was Slave who came up with this, and you have to give it to him. It's a blue card that really changes the deck and gives you options like Force of Will, which we'll get to, but Whirlpool Rider. Basically, when it comes into play, you shuffle your hand into your library and you draw that many cards. Well, I know a lot of people are like, oh, your graveyard is your deck. Generally, you have 3 to 4 cards in your hand, and by the time Manaless is in a position to actually try to combo off, I know this is where a lot of people go into with Spy, but when the deck's actually in a position to combo off, you generally, drawing 4 cards or 3 cards is pretty much going to win the game for you already. Just because that's most of your deck when you're talking about 6, 5, and 4, and even as low as 3 cards at a time. That's most of your deck will pretty much drop into your graveyard. And Whirlpool Rider, aside from being a dreaded return target, he does pitch to Force of Will. Force of Will, I'm running 3 in the main, and it's been a lot of fun. Being able to counter things and be more proactive with your against hate than reactive has been a lot of fun, especially post board. Or just being able to counter like a Stoneforge Mystic early, or something that greatly changes the board state. Maybe a True Name Nemesis. You can counter that. But Force has been absolutely awesome in the main. It's been a lot of fun to, instead of, especially post board, when the games go on and you find yourself in a position where they're going to play a Rest in Peace. Well, say you have the green sideboard, well, you can counteract, that, but you're going to lose your graveyard in the process. So you, with the Force of Will package, it's a little more proactive. You still have to react to them, but it's more proactive in the sense that you won't lose your graveyard when things go down. Whirlpool Rider ties into part of the sideboard. The sideboard does run Disrupting Shells, and Whirlpool Rider being for 2 has been a lot of fun. It actually does pitch along with Narcomoeba to Disrupting, or Disrupting to Disrupting, to counter Rest in Peace. So this is pretty much where I'm trying to take the deck at the moment. Whether this pans out in the future or other options come around, that is yet to be determined. But it really looks like this could be where the deck is heading in the future. I know I've missed quite a bit of things I could talk your ear off for, but I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to get into the sideboard, show off some more of the counter package, or the blue package for this deck, and I'll try to wrap this up. Alright, thank you. Hey YouTube, this is Tabletop Magic, and we're back with the sideboard for the blue Dredge deck. I guess that's going to be the name for it for now. But anyways, we have our 4th Force of Will. There's only 3 in the main. We have 4 Disrupting Shells. The Disrupting Shoals, they are really fun. People don't see them coming. They don't see Force of Will coming out of Manaless if they even know a whole lot about it. They may only know it exists. Some people know the deck a little bit, but that look you get when you counter something with either of these 2 spells is priceless. Like, I don't think I have seen a look on someone's face of, what? So vibrant. It's been quite a while. Chandler of the Annex is, it's fun, it's okay. I think they're actually going to come out, and I'm going to put Leyline of Sanctities in there. A lot of your hate that you're going to deal with, especially against like lands, any of the land-based decks, where they're going to bring in, was it Bazooka Bogs? Those they target a player, along with Nile Spellbomb. Even if they're just trying to 1/1 pop a Relic of Progenitus, those cards have to target a player. So Leyline of Sanctity may come in a lot of handy against those. And some of the other decks that are out there. Storm would be nice. Then we have 2 Fairy Macabre. The fairies are in there. I'd like to find room. I may pull an Unmask, but I really, really like Unmask, and I cut it down to 1. And I don't even like that. But I'd like to have the extra graveyard removal, just because there's so many times I've faced Reanimator and I didn't want to, and you never want to with this deck. And that's about as good as it gets, aside from the Force package, which I haven't had a whole lot of testing with the Force package or the blue package against Reanimator. But we'll go ahead and try it out. World Spineworm, it's in there as kind of double duty. It's not as good as having maybe Blightsteel or something in my sideboard, because it does work against show and tell, but it also saves me from any kind of mill strategies like Painter Servant and whatnot. The last SCG I actually won 2 of my matches because I had World Spine in my sideboard, and they milled me to nothing. Next turn, World Spine went down, but I drew it out. I was able to win. But it does double duty against show and tell when it comes in. If you can take the hit from the Emrakul, World Spine comes down. When you have to sacrifice it, you still have 3 tokens there, and then you can use that to combo out. Contagion's in there. The other 2 are in the main board. Still a little insurance against Deathrite Shaman. You never really want to see him resolve, and there's a lot of other spells out there that are a little problematic, or permanents are problematic, that Contagion takes care of. And I have a single Unmask. Unmask being another discard spell against your opponent. You can also use it on yourself to force yourself to discard, so you can then go into dredging earlier. Say they have a Deathrite Shaman that has you on the run, and you're able to take care of a Contagion. You top deck an Unmask. You can Unmask yourself, and then start your dredging from there a little earlier. It's nice. I do bring it against other decks too, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The sideboard's always changing. Pretty much every day. Anytime you play with the sideboard, it's going to change again. But this is the deck. Post your comments. And this is a newer deck coming around, so if you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and post them up, and I'll try to reply to them as soon as I can. Alright, thanks for watching.